All right, today we're going to tackle a small but, super tricky part of English grammar, adjectives. Specifically, how we use them to compare stuff. If you can get this right, I'm telling you, your writing and speaking will sound so much better, so much clearer. You ready? Let's dive in. So, have you ever been writing something and just stopped, wondering about this exact thing? It's a classic grammar puzzle that messes with pretty much everyone, even native speakers. Why does happy turn into happier, but beautiful needs more beautiful? It feels kind of random, doesn't it? But there is a system to it. And by the end of this, you're going to have it all figured out. Okay, so before we can really answer that big question, we have to get the two basic types of comparison straight. They're called comparative and superlative. Let's just quickly break down what each one actually does. Honestly, it's really straightforward. As you can see here, we use comparative adjectives when we're comparing just two things. A little trick to remember: compare for a pair. Simple. Then you have superlative adjectives, and those are for when you're comparing a group of three or more things. You know, when one thing is super, the most extreme of the whole bunch. And here is a fantastic little trick for you. This slide shows two little keywords that are basically giant signals. If you see the word van, you're almost definitely looking at a comparative, like Amy is smarter than Betty. But if you see the word the right before your adjective, that's a dead giveaway for a superlative. Tom is the oldest in town. So keep an eye out for those little words. They help a lot. Okay, now that we've got the basics down, let's jump into our first big rule. This one handles all those short common adjectives, and it's probably the one you already know best. So here's the rule in a nutshell. For short, one-syllable words like long, or words that happen to end in y, like happy, you don't need to add any extra words at all. You just tack on er for comparatives or est for superlatives. It's nice and clean. This table just lays out the pattern perfectly. You see old becomes older, then oldest. Long, longer, longest. Now, here's a key detail to notice. Look at the words ending in y, like happy and pretty. You see how the y actually changes to an I before you add the ending? It's a tiny spelling change, but it's a really important one to remember. And let's see this rule out in the wild. The longest song. We've got our clues, right? We have the right before the adjective and that est ending. The sentence is comparing this one song to a whole group of other songs. Literally every song the person has ever heard. So of course it has to be a superlative. So the and est rule is perfect for short words. But what about the longer, more complicated ones? Well, that's where our second major rule comes into play. And this right here finally answers our original question about beautiful. For these longer words, we're talking two or more syllables, we don't change the ending of the word itself. Instead, we just put more or most right in front of it. I mean, can you imagine saying beautifuler? It's a total mouthful. This rule just keeps things sounding smooth. You can really see it with these examples. I mean, seriously, try saying respectabler or hardworkingest. It just sounds clunky, right? Our ears immediately know it's wrong. More respectable and most hardworking, that just flows so much better. It's a really simple, elegant solution for these longer words. And here we go again. One shade of blue is being compared to all the other colors, so it's a superlative. And because beautiful is a three-syllable word, we can't use est. Instead, we pop most right in front. The most beautiful. Simple, elegant, and perfectly correct. So we have a rule for short words and a rule for long words. That seems like it should cover everything, doesn't it? Well, not quite. English grammar just loves to have a few rebels in the mix. Let's talk about the irregular adjectives. Yep, with these rule breakers, there's no pattern. They just don't follow the system or the more system. They do their own thing. These are words you just have to memorize, really, through practice and just hearing them used. This table lays out the most common ones. And let's be honest, you never say gooder or badder. We all just instinctively know it's better and worse. These words are so common, so fundamental that you probably use them correctly all the time without even thinking. But seeing them listed out like this really helps to lock in that knowledge. Okay, you've seen the rules, you've seen the patterns, you've met the rebels. Now it is time to put what you've learned to the test. Let's do a quick quiz. Don't worry, it's just for fun. All right, here's our first challenge. The adjective is cold. Now, think about our rules. Is it a short word or a long one? Which pattern does it follow? I'll give you a second to think it over. And there it is, colder and coldest. Cold is a classic one-syllable word, so it gets the simple and est endings. Fantastic job if you got that one. Okay, let's switch it up for the next one. Instead of filling in a blank, I want you to be the editor here and find the mistake. Which of these sentences is wrong? Okay, take a moment. Read through these 3 sentences. Sometimes reading them out loud really helps. Mary is shorter than Jane. The moon is more closer to the Earth. I have the best score on the exam. Does one of those just sound a little weird? If you spotted more closer, you nailed it. This is a super common mistake. It's called a double comparative. It's like you're trying to apply both rules at once. Since close is a short, one-syllable word, all it needs is that ER at the end. The more is totally unnecessary. You just can't use both. All right, time for the final round of our little quiz. This one's a mix of everything we've covered. We've got a word ending in Y, one of our irregular rebels, and a classic long adjective. Go on, take a shot at these 3. And the answers are prettier, worst, and more beautiful. So how'd you do? If you got all 3 right, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. You have officially mastered the rules of comparison. And there you have it. That's our deep dive into comparative and superlative adjectives. From the simple and est all the way to more and most, and of course, those tricky irregulars, you now have the complete toolkit. You can make your comparisons sound precise and powerful. So the only question left is, what's the next grammar rule we should break down for you? Let us know.